Hey Colts fans, I'm JJ Stankevitz and welcome into another episode of the Colts Show, an Indianapolis Colts podcast. We are here at Grand Park. We're taping this on Wednesday, right after the Colts ended their first training camp practice of 2025. Coming up later on the show, I had a chance to sit down with cornerback JuJu Brents, one of my favorite dudes to talk to on this entire team. He was awesome, really just real guy, great interview, great insight into some of the processes he has playing cornerback in the NFL. We're going to have the Colts Show Mailbag coming up after that as well on the episode. You can submit your questions in the YouTube comments on this episode at colts.com/mailbag, or you can send them to me on social media. All right, but real quick, let's run down kind of what happened in practice today. If you want to see my chicken scratch notebook, I don't know if I'm blowing the white balance here, but we are full. It was really good to have football back and notes to take on a practice. And obviously we're going to start with the quarterback competition, right? Like you can't not start there when it comes to this team. Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson split first team reps in both 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 today. I don't know, there were some drops. There was, a couple good plays by the defense. A couple completions in there, some in-rhythm stuff that was good to see from both quarterbacks. Daniel Jones probably had the most impressive throw of the day. He hit Anthony Gould down the left sideline with a really nice deep ball, kind of dropped it in the bucket. And I think the main thing that we learned today was just both those guys, the mentality. We had a chance to hear from Richardson and Jones, and both those guys, their mentality is just, hey, this is a process. We're going to have to really just focus on kind of stacking days and not getting too high or too low based on one practice. And, the word that you keep hearing about this is consistency. Who's going to be the most consistent quarterback? Anthony Richardson talked about this offseason. He really focused on the intermediate and the short throws. He was like, I think everyone knows I can throw the deep ball, which we all do. Those two areas of his game are where he needs to make a lot of improvement. That's going to be where his completion percentage is going to go up, is in completing more of those short and intermediate throws that keeps the offense on schedule and ahead of the sticks. And then for Daniel Jones, it is about consistency. It's about consistency in everything that he does, from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to bed. And we'll see how it plays out. I mean, I think both these guys are on even footing. We did get a little more clarity today. So yesterday, Chris Ballard told us that Anthony Richardson, they limit his volume of throws a little bit as he's coming back from that shoulder injury. What that's going to look like, Shane Steichen told us, is that you're going to see Richardson maybe not make all the throws during individual drills. So that's like your routes on air early in practice where there's no defense out there, because they want Richardson to get all the team drills. So that's 7-on-7 and 11-on-11. They want him to get all of those reps to be equal with Daniel Jones as we move forward here in this competition. It's early, it's day one. But the other storyline I came out of today was like, man, this secondary's good. This is a good secondary. Kenny Moore II had an interception today. Charvarius Ward had two breakups downfield, one on a deep ball to Alec Pierce. That, I guess it wasn't really a breakup, but I would count it as a forced incompletion. And then Justin Wally, the rookie third-round pick out of Minnesota, he was with the first-team defense today. I don't think that was a huge surprise based on, Jalen Jones missed all of OTAs. He was not participating in that. JuJu Brents still kind of working his way back in. And then if you talk to anyone, any coach, any front office member, like the first name out of their mouth during the offseason was like, have you seen this Justin Wally kid? This guy can compete. He can run. He's smart. So not a surprise that Wally got that first crack. Now, I think that's still a wide open competition between Wally, Jones, and JuJu Brents. But right now, I think that was a little encouraging to see the rookie get a go at it here on day one and, go out there and make a couple plays out there. So that's going to kind of feed into our next conversation here, which is going to be with cornerback JuJu Brents, a guy who has been through a lot in his 2-year career so far. A lot of bad luck injuries. Like this guy got kicked in the face and missed some time at one point. Last year, he plays that entire week 1 game against the Texans. During the game, I think it was Nico Collins fell on him awkwardly. He finishes the game. He goes in for, to get it checked out, not thinking it's anything major, and all of a sudden, bam, you're on IR. He misses most of last season because of that. But a guy who I think, my conversation with him, I learned he's really kind of grown through that adversity, through those tough times and those tough situations. And a guy I am absolutely not counting out of this cornerback competition to start next to Charvarius Ward and Kenny Moore II in that defensive backfield. So, again, and a guy I love talking to. He's an indie guy. He's done some really cool stuff in the community, giving back to his community, his church. Really neat stuff. So here we go. Here's Colts cornerback JuJu Brents. It is my pleasure to be joined here on the Colts Show here at training camp by cornerback JuJu Brents. JuJu, year 3, man.
Yes, sir.
What are you looking forward to in this training camp?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just getting back out there and competing. Last year just going through some trial and tribulation, not be able to play, which was tough. So I made it through most of camp last year, but now like this year I just want to put a good camp underneath my belt and then get to the season. That
competition is something that Chris Ballard, a lot of folks in this organization have talked about needing to get. That cornerback room looks awfully competitive.
Oh, yeah.
With Mooney, Kenny, kind of as your vets there, but, then you, Jalen, Justin, Sam Womack, these guys in there. Like that seems like a real good competitive environment to have there.
No, definitely. I think you got to have competition, right? It's going to make all of us better. It's a healthy competition, man. And, when the smoke clear, we just want to make sure that we got the best guys out there. So it's going to be good for all of us. Like you said, we got all the guys coming back and the new additions as well. It's going to just make us all better.
I think sometimes people hear competition and they think when you're not out there, you're going to root against the guys who you're competing with. But it seems like within a football team, it is that healthy competition where, hey, if Jalen goes out there and breaks up a pass, I want to go out there and I want to do the same. I want to show I can reach his level. How does that play out between you guys there?
Facts, absolutely. Especially at corner, it's a little bit different because it's the ultimate just competitive type of position. You got to be dialed in every single play. Yeah, definitely. When you see one of your guys make a play, it gives you a different feeling because we know cornerback is tough. So you see somebody make a play, it's okay, I got to go. I'm gonna make a play now. But it's a great thing for us. I think we all just want to see each other win. At the end of the day, he win, I win, the team win.
Yeah.
So that's the type of mentality that we have in the cornerback room.
How do you approach as a cornerback those one-on-one drills? Because those are, some receivers are going to win those. You guys are going to win those. How do you approach maybe the totality of those one-on-one ones?
Yeah, it's a mental game for sure, as much as it is physical. But yeah, it's a type of I would say just realm where you got to go into. You just got to be real intentional, right? You got to pay attention to every little thing. You can't be a half second late because that's a loss playing cornerback position. So being real intentional, the way that you line up, the way that you're paying attention to your keys, noticing if he got his right foot up, his inside foot, outside foot, where is he at? He's bottom of the numbers, he's 2 yards, from the bottom of the numbers. Now I got just leveling down, what type of routes that he may run. So it's just those little things, the mind process you got to go through every single rep. So just being real intentional.
I was going to ask you what you're looking for, but you just kind of gave the rundown of
that's just a simple list of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's simple. That sounded very simple to me, a stupid person. I mean, but when okay, so for example, when you're looking at how are receivers lining up their feet, what does that tell you?
Right. So if I'm seeing a receiver, I'm playing outside corner, he come up to the line of scrimmage and he has his outside foot up. Now, it's not 100% guaranteed, but I'm anticipating I'm getting a hard jab coming off this outside foot to go back inside immediately. If he got his outside foot, I'm not anticipating him to now switch his feet and then give me an outside release.
Yeah.
So if he got his outside foot up, I'm being heavy inside leverage. I'm going to take that away because I know that's what he want to get to. Now, if it's inside foot up, now I ain't going to give you all my keys. Or
right.
But
yeah.
Inside foot up, now it's a little bit different process, right? I'm going to take my leverage and then play the game from there on. But, yeah, it's just those little things you got to pick up on. If you're not locked in, then that's a loss.
I remember, I think it was Jordy Nelson once talked about this, where he was he talked about that. And if he was going to give an outside release, he would do what you said. He would kind of switch his footwork, or he would be able to get an outside release even when he had his outside foot forward.
Right.
When you faced a DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, some of these vet receivers who have been there, done that in the league, what have you maybe learned about those nuances of playing cornerback against those guys from those matchups?
Right. When you go against certain guys like that, you understand that, like you just said with Jordy Nelson, they can do that. So a lot of guys, they may, understand that, I'm maybe getting an indication that I may be going inside, but I may hop off the line you may see a Devontae Adams where it's more like a square release and he can go either way. It's a two-way. So now I know that I got a chance to be able to shoot my hands. I got to be aggressive because if he gets to where he want to get to, now it's a two-way go on me. That's tough. It could be able to compete against. So, it's just film study. when you're going against guys like that, just understand how they like to, attack DBs. Film study against the offensive coordinator as well. What do they like when they see these guys and he got a one-on-one matchup? What type of routes are they giving them? So just a film study.
So what do you look at in the off season when you have, hours of time, maybe it's outside of the workouts that you're doing, to prepare for those extremely small details that can be the difference between winning a rep and losing a rep?
Yeah, I like to watch schemes. Definitely know we got our schedule now. So I just look at maybe where this offensive coordinator came from. Maybe it may be, a new team now. So I like to look at the scheme. Maybe I may just watch not long, just like a quarter or so. Like the first quarter, that's when, guys are throwing out their most explosive plays that they want to get to in order to get the defense back on their heels. So I may watch a quarter, just like the scheme offensive coordinators. And then depending on, I know okay, this week, such and such is going to be here, and I may know my matchup, what it may look like. I like to just watch guys come out the line, just little things like that, just different little nuances I can pick up on. So then when I get to the game, it's like, okay, I've seen this before. So I just like to watch little things as far as schemes, and then I like watch study guys as well a little bit.
Do you have a notebook that you keep?
I got a notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy?
It's pretty heavy, yeah. But, sometimes I like to, I know some guys that say they like to carry theirs on. I get rid of mine after the year. I watch it and then it's like, okay, now I want to be intentional and let's write it down again for this next upcoming year. So
I remember this was something Gus told me when he was in Tampa with Derek Brooks, right? Hall of Fame linebacker. He was doing a week 1 install on the first day of the offseason program. And Derek Brooks is in there taking these very detailed notes. And he was like, why are you doing that? And he's like, well, because even though I'm year 10 or whatever, there's always something new to learn. And I think that kind of goes to, if you continually write things down, that just probably helps you drill it into your brain, right?
Absolutely. Everybody learns different, but I'm one of those guys as well.
Yeah.
I like to write it down. Then I feel like I attain it a little bit better. And yeah, I could carry over my notes to next year, but essentially, I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice. I like to write it down. It may help or work for some guys, but me, I like to, write it down.
All right, I saw you did a lot of Pilates this offseason. But so yeah. EJ Speed told me this last year. With Pilates, he's like, it puts your body in uncomfortable positions.
Thanks.
So when, because hitting someone and making a tackle on the field, your body's in an awkward position.
Yeah.
And being in Pilates, he told me, helps get my body used to that.
True.
What was your motivation for getting into Pilates?
Oh, man, it's tough. Yeah, I am a little Pilates mama now, man. I just did it yesterday. I wish you could see some of the videos she had me doing, but I think my thought process on it was, like what you said with EJ, I just learned it from some of the vets. Some guys was like, yeah, it's a great thing to, be able to work on those little muscles that you can't really, I guess, necessarily attack in the weight room. It's a different type of movement. And, playing cornerback, you get put in a lot of unpredictable type of situations, the way your body's moving, you're torquing your hips constantly, flipping. So those little muscles that you need to fine tune, I feel like Pilates is a great way to be able to do it. So it's a lot of things where you working on your core, getting you in some, I don't know what you call it, a back spring where you bent over. It's crazy.
Okay, but that feels like you could use that to break up a pass.
Going up for the ball. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Working on your shoulders, opening all the way up. So that was just my thought process. And it has, I feel like, opened me up a little bit more in different ways to where my body feels a little bit more fluid. Even though I felt like I was fluid, but just always just trying to find different ways I continue to keep getting better.
The injuries and the things you've gone through in your career, it's been, a hamstring. It's been you had the broken hand.
Yep,
you've had, I remember you had a quote last year where you said, if I'd played tennis, I would have been like, why is this happening to me? But you chose to play football.
Right.
I guess, as you now approach this season and the opportunity you have, how do you view maybe what you've gone through over the last 2 years now going into year 3?
Yeah, I really do see the blessing in disguise in it. I know when I was probably a little bit younger, I used to question myself and wonder damn, how's this happening? My mom was she kind of told me that. She's you play football. I want you to understand that you play football. She's we talked about this past year. It's okay, you broke your nose. You went in and made a tackle. You got kicked in your face. You broke your nose.
Yeah.
That's not happening playing certain sports. You go up for a ball last year and 2 guys fall on your leg and you hurt your knee. It's some of those things just gonna be unpredictable. So it's just this is what you signed up for. And yeah, it may be a little bad luck. Hopefully it's just, I put myself in the right position now to where I could just be smooth selling and the little things as far as the hamstrings, little stuff like that. Those are stuff that you can take care of on your own and try to limit. But the little things where you may end up hurting knees, stuff like that, man, just sometimes things happen. So yeah. I think for me, I've been to those deep waters now. I've seen what that adversity looks like, and I know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So that's like the blessing in disguise with me. And anything I come up to now or any type of trials or tribulation, it's not going to steer me the wrong way. I've been there. I know how to deal with it.
Can you almost view that, like corners have to have that next play mentality.
Yeah.
Right? Like you've had to overcome a lot to just get back to this point.
Yeah.
Can that maybe help like bolster that next play mentality of like, hey, maybe I didn't win this rep, but look, think about what I've been through and got through to get back to this point. Like, does that help you at all?
Hell yeah. It's definitely it's lit like a fire in me. I honestly have. I just remember being in a position last year where I played that whole game and not knowing that I had torn my meniscus and MCL, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be fine this week. Throw a brace on, we gonna knock it out. We be cool. It was like, no, you gotta get surgery. And I remember being in that position, just like, all right, this is the reality. Like, let's get through it, and then next year, like camp, like that's what I was like. I'm gonna get through this, and then I'm gonna be at camp, and look where we at.
Yeah.
I'm good. We at camp, so it just lit a different fire in me. And I'm just grateful, honestly, to be in a position now where I can get back out there.
What do you like about Lou Anarumo and the way he plays defense?
He aggressive. It's one of those mentalities like, okay, like you got to beat us. We go come to win, so you got to beat us, and we go put it on the line. So he also does just throw in a lot of different looks where I feel like it's gonna be tough for people to be able to fully decipher like what are we actually in, what are we playing. And yeah, like when it comes down to the line where we need to be aggressive, we need to go make a play, like he go put us in those positions. So I like it.
Personality-wise, DeForest Buckner was saying he's very blunt.
Yeah.
Do you like that as a player, someone who's just a blunt communicator of, hey, this is what I saw you do on this play, and this is how it's got to be?
Facts. That's how I grew up. That's what I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
I mean, like Warren Central High School, that's how our coaches was. I started off at Iowa, like a lot of people, I don't know if you know Phil Parker or not, but he one of those, like the defensive coordinator there, like extremely blunt. So that's what I'm used to. I mean, like it's gonna hold us all accountable to a certain like extent. Like you're doing your job or you're not doing your job. If you're not doing your job, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do, and then it's up to you to be able to fix it. If you don't fix it, then that's a problem. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's an understanding, and I say like we all kind of gravitating towards, and it's gonna make us better.
You're one of the few people on this team who probably understands what Indy's like as a sports city.
Yeah.
Before the Pacers made their run this year. I talked to a number of your teammates back in June who all told me like the Pacers going on that run motivated them because they saw how like lit things got in Indy when they made the finals. And they're like, we want to have that in the fall on Sundays. Like how did you digest that Pacers run as someone who's watched Bob Sanders here and watched Super Bowls here and has seen these great Pacers teams previously, but are like now you're on the Colts and now you're like, man, we want to carry that momentum into our season. Like, how did you digest that?
No, definitely the same way. I feel like that's what our fans are used to. We're used to excellence. We're used to having, like you said, the Bob Sanders, the Peyton Manning's coming in where it's like it's expected for us to win. And we haven't been on that trajectory lately. I mean, we're getting closer. We're right on the cusp of the playoffs. But it's like our fans, like they're used to us winning. So like for me growing up as a fan, it's like, no, like the Colts, I'm thinking every year, like we got a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Pacers, I know it was kind of like a little drought, but I know like in the 90s we was pretty good. But then this past year, like it definitely was like, okay, like now it's time for us to show up too. The Pacers showing up. The city, I feel like we just gaining momentum as far as in the sports and the fever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all just great vibes right now. And I feel like we'll be doing the city a disservice if we don't give our all this year as well. So it definitely lit a fire in me too. Like, okay, like we got to show up.
You've been really intentional about being out in the community over the last couple of years as well. I know you just had an event over the weekend.
Yeah.
What was it, and what did you hope to get out of that?
Yeah, so it was a partnership with me and my church, the JuJu Brents and Folks Foundation, which is my mom, and then New Beginnings, New Be Indy. And this is the third annual year we've done it. And I remember when I got drafted, my mom was like, okay, like, yeah, you're a football player, but you're more than that as well. So any ways that you can be able to give back to the city or just back to the community in general, like, let's find ways for you to be able to do it. And it was this idea my mom kind of came up with for me to just come in conjunction with my church, which I've been a part of the church since I was a child. So we had a community day this past Saturday where we was able to bless over 1,000 families with giving them backpacks for the kids, supplies. Over 100+ kids got free physicals getting ready for the school year and for sports.
That's awesome.
We had people out there getting them haircuts. A lot of different smaller businesses was out there, just presenting their businesses to people, and different vendors was there. We had, I don't know how many dang old food trucks. We had some turkey legs. I had Josh down. So I asked him about that. I think he had one of those.
Like the State Fair turkey leg?
Yeah, one of the turkey. We had one of those. The tacos, everything. It was just a great great time for people to come out to build a fellowship, have a great vibe, and get ready for the school. And it definitely it makes me feel good just to be able to put a smile on kids' face. Cause like I remember being that kid and just seeing somebody was like, man, he's playing in the NFL, or regardless of what the case may be, but just being like, dang, I want to be like that guy one day. So me being able to show people like, no, like you can actually do it. Like I grew up in the same neighborhood just like you, and just be able to give back to those kids now, it's a blessing. So.
I was gonna say, like, how motivating is that to think about yourself as a kid and being like, man, how cool would it have been if when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, we had an Indianapolis Colts cornerback come to our church
Facts.
And come meet with us and come have a relationship with. Like that's got to be a pretty neat feeling to have.
No, it is. It's definitely dope, and like feelings like that, I don't take it for granted. So anyway, I'm gonna be able to continue to keep doing that. I'm gonna continue to keep doing it. I'm just looking forward to years to come with it, but it definitely is a good feeling for sure. Being like that kid one day and now being in the position I'm in now.
Right on. From Indianapolis, JuJu Brents, Colts cornerback. Good luck in training camp, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.
All right, back here on the Colts Show, and it's time for the Colts Show Mailbag. Remember, submit your questions on Colts.com/mailbag. You can drop them in the YouTube comments of this episode, or you can send them to me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. I check all that stuff. So send your questions my way. I'll always answer one on the podcast and then get to other questions on Colts.com. So check that out on Thursday for the Colts Show Mailbag on Colts.com as well. All right. This one comes to us from the YouTube comments of last week's episode, the training camp preview I did with Lara Overton, and it's a good one from Mr. Deeds117. He writes, other than Tyler Warren, what do you guys want to see from the tight end group in training camp and into the preseason with guys like Will Mallory? Okay, so this was good because we've talked so much about Tyler Warren. I feel like every week I get a question about how the Colts are going to use Tyler Warren in this offense because the guy's a first-round pick. He's going to be a big part of what the Colts are going to do, but he's not going to be the only part of this tight end group. I thought it was notable today. You saw Tyler Warren rotate in with the first-team offense with Mo Alley-Cox and Drew Ogletree, the two guys who played they're right up there in snap percentage last year with Kylan Granson. So last year, Mo Alley-Cox played 43% of the Colts' offensive snaps. Drew Ogletree played 40%. Granson was at 39%. Will Mallory was down there at 9%. So, there's still going to be opportunities. Even if Tyler Warren is playing a high volume of snaps, the Colts are going to need Mo Alley-Cox, Ogletree, Mallory, Jelani Woods. Maybe you even get down into Albert Okwuegbunam Jr. or Sean McKeon. Some of these guys are competing for roster spots. Jelani Woods as well is back, and he's healthy. So what I wanted to do, though, is just sort of look at what other teams who have drafted tight ends high have had to do with their maybe second and third tight ends. So I think that the example our minds all go to here is Brock Bowers, who is the 13th overall pick of the Raiders last year, set all sorts of rookie records for tight ends. He played 85% of Las Vegas's offensive snaps. That is a really high volume. He almost played 1,000 snaps last year as a rookie. But early on, he was playing he was under 70% for Las Vegas's first 3 games. The next 2 games, he was in the high 70s in terms of snap percentage. And then after that, it was like the Raiders realized, holy cow, this guy's amazing. We got to get him on the field as much as possible. He never had a game below 83% of the snap share after that. So I was like, all right, I don't know if Brock Bowers is maybe the right example here. Look, if Tyler Warren hits and he's playing that level of the Colts offensive snaps, that's a really good thing. I wanted to go back then and look at what Kyle Pitts did. He was the 4th overall pick in 2021 of the Atlanta Falcons. He had a good year. I think he had 1,000 yards that year. But that year he played 73.6% of Atlanta's snaps at tight end. The Falcons still had to play other tight ends. It wasn't like this was just Kyle Pitts. So Hayden Hurst that year played 410 snaps, and Lee Smith, who is more of a blocking tight end, played 311 snaps. So you're still looking at, if I had to just ballpark it, guys like Mo Alley-Cox, Drew Ogletree, Will Mallory, Woods, whoever it might be, those guys are still going to need to cover anywhere from probably 15 to 25, maybe even 30 snaps a game, depending on what personnel packages the Colts are in. I like this collection with Warren maybe kind of setting where everyone can be a little bit more targeted in how they're used. Because last year it was like, you had Kylan Granson, who was sort of only relied on as a pass catcher, and Mo Alley-Cox, who was sort of only relied on as a run blocker. Ogletree was a little more in the run blocking realm there as well. If you put Warren up here at the top, and he's getting maybe 70 to 75% of the snaps if he earns it, and then you've got Mo Alley-Cox, hey, we're in 12 personnel. We want to run the ball, get Mo on the field. Drew Ogletree, we're in 12 personnel. We want to run the ball, get Drew on the field. Hey, we might want to throw it out of this package and, throw a team off by having 12 personnel, but we got Will Mallory maybe lined up in the slot. There's a little bit more flexibility the Colts can have. So I'm definitely, to this question here in the YouTube comments, I'm definitely keeping an eye on the rest of these tight ends in addition to Tyler Warren to figure out maybe what that pecking order is, how the Colts are going to use these guys. And these guys are all going to play important snaps for the Colts, even if maybe they aren't getting the highest share of snaps within this offense. These guys they're going to play critical snaps. They're going to need to make big plays in big moments like we've seen in years past. It just might be so that Tyler Warren sort of pushes down the depth chart a little bit to where you can use these guys in situations that are really tailored to their skill set. So really good question there from Mr. Deeds 117. Get your questions in for next week's episode. That's going to come out on Thursday. As always, we are loaded up here on our podcast network with the Colts. We've got Inside Football with Rick Venturi coming back next week. We've got the 2-Minute Drill podcast that my colleague Amanda Foster is going to host. That's going to come out on Fridays. And then it's like right around the corner is going to be the Colts playing the Baltimore Ravens 2 weeks from today. The Colts open the preseason against the Baltimore Ravens. My guys, Casey Vallier and Bill Brooks, are going to have an episode of Instant Reaction coming out right after that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of The Colts Show on YouTube, on our podcast network, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. Give us a 5-star review. Like us, subscribe to us on YouTube. That helps get our podcast out to more people with more good interviews, more good stuff coming to you from training camp here on The Colts Show. I'm JJ Stankevitz. Talk to you next week. So long.